What happens when the Israeli immigration authorities demand that the foreign partner leave Israel, but the couple, he is Israeli and she is a foreigner, want to stay together in Israel and regulate her status in front of the Israeli immigration without leaving the country. Hi, my name is Joshua Pex. We deal with immigration to Israel. One of the most popular ways to immigrate to Israel is through a partnership with Israeli, or it's called also family reunification for a married couple. In this case, we're talking about a young couple. They're not married, but they're living together. And she is from Germany. She came to Israel on a volunteer working visa. It's sort of a very exceptional visa program that young foreigners, mainly from Europe, can come to Israel and volunteer for a time, usually for about a year, but they do get a work visa. They don't get paid, but the visa they get is a B1 work visa. They stay usually for a year. So during this time in Israel, this relatively young girl meets an Israeli young guy. They're very, very serious. They move in together, living together, and before her visa expires, they go to the Israeli immigration in order to say we're a couple and to switch to a partnership visa for her. So this is a process. They collect all the documents, they sign everything, they have to translate documents, get the notary, the apostille. It's not simple, and make an appointment, but they go to the immigration at Misrad Apnim and they get denied immediately. Why? Because in the procedure that she came through, there is explicit paragraph that says that a person that gets a B1 visa through the volunteer program cannot switch to any kind of other visa before leaving Israel. So this is a problem. The immigration deny their application. At this point they come to us as lawyers and they say, what can we do? And we say we think we can appeal and win this case because the Israeli has a very strong right for, according even to the Supreme Court, to have his spouse or a partner here in Israel together with him without the demand of leaving Israel. But the Israeli immigration are also very strict, so we do submit the appeal, have to give more documents, there's a waiting time, and during this time her visa by now is expired, remember, and she's here not able to work anymore or volunteer. But this couple was very stubborn, they loved each other, they didn't want to separate. Also, during this time the Israeli is doing reserve duty because of the war. He's going in and out of reserves, and when he comes home, they really want him to be together with her, and she's supporting him emotionally. So they really didn't want her to go back to Germany, but the immigration is giving a hard time and also deny the appeal. So at this point, once the internal appeal is denied, the only thing you can do is go to the courts. And this takes more time and also more money, but this couple really are not going to give up. So we say, yes, we think we can win in court. We go to the appeals tribunal, and there's a discussion in front of the judge. You know, the immigration have a strong argument. They say this is the procedure. It's very clear that she cannot switch to any other visa before leaving Israel. But we had also our arguments. We said, and this sounds maybe a little bit tricky, but in that procedure, what it says is for her, but here we're arguing that she's invited by an Israeli, and we're talking about his rights, and for him, you know, this procedure doesn't apply. That was one argument. The second argument was more substantial, and we said that the Israeli Supreme Court in Stamka cases already decided that in order to check the authenticity of a relationship, the immigration doesn't always have to demand leaving Israel, especially if they're here already together, living together. Why does she need to go outside of Israel in order to check if they're real and genuine couple if they're already here together and they can do interviews and provide any documents you're asking for. So to our great pleasure, we succeeded to convince the judge, and he did put a bank guarantee that they had to give, and he did say that the case will go back to the immigration for another review of their relationship, which wasn't any problem for us or for the couple because obviously they're a real and genuine couple. So they need to apply sort of from the beginning, bring more documents, go through an interview, but we are certain that they will succeed, and at the end of the day, this is what they wanted. They wanted to stay here together and go through the process of family reunification without leaving Israel. So some cases are more complicated than others, and sometimes you need to go to the immigration tribunal, to the courts, in order to succeed. But if a couple is really together and they really want to be together and without leaving Israel, usually, like in this case, you can succeed. If you have any questions regarding immigration to Israel, please contact us.